Okay, so we're getting closer and closer to SummerSlam. A couple segments of the night were done. We're given to the Roddy Piper tributes. And I'm amazed at how fast they can kick out a high-quality tribute. Both of those done very well. You can probably catch them on YouTube by now. So, very, very well done. I've already shot my bit about that. So, great seeing lots of people in hot rod shirts. I thought they worked that out very, very well. And they even threw them into promos too, which was good. You know, especially they picked the right people. Ambrose said a bit about him. Miz said a bit about him before Miz TV. They picked the right people in the right circumstances to discuss it. It was like Rollins has a new shirt as he began the show, because that's how the show begins. Never shuts up. I like the fact that it's a play off the John Cena shirt. It's good. They showed the footage, of course, of him just destroying the nose of John Cena. That's also why Nikki didn't take on Becky Lynch last week on SmackDown. You know, John's face went from going like this to being like this with some over here, so it made sense for her to miss a match to spend time with him. You know, I think that it would have been better had she had said, you know, there's an emergency, hashtag John Cena. You know, to just, if you watch Total Divas, everyone knows that they're a couple. She just could have mentioned it really quickly. Would have been fine. Yeah, she's a heel. He's a face. Everyone knows you're together. Deal with it. So Rollins comes out, cuts a nice heel promo. Challenges John to a champion versus champion winner-take-all match. That's actually really interesting. Because if you're the person to beat John Cena at SummerSlam, where John fell last year to Brock Lesnar, that could be interesting. That could be very interesting. He then did an open challenge. Bang! Threw in, got to be like under 200 pounds and less than 6 foot tall. So who comes out? Neville. These two put on a fantastic match. Great moments where you're like, for a split second, you're like, did the ref make a mistake there? Should that have been a 3 count? Hitting the red arrow in the crowd. 1, 2, sets foot on the rope. 3, but foot was on the ropes. And I was like, they did that match perfectly well. It actually, there were moments where it seemed like Neville could legitimately beat Seth Rollins. So they made Neville look good. Rollins showed some extra resiliency. Yeah, he wasn't booked super strong, but he got the victory. And JBL did a great job from the announcing side to really, really get that over. So you don't need to be dominant, you just need to win. But that was good commentary for that. We had our first of 2 Divas matches. 2. It was a tag match. Becky Lynch and Charlotte took on the Bellas. I really wish Cole would learn more of Becky Lynch. He seems to have a decent amount of information on Charlotte, virtually nothing on Becky Lynch, and he constantly overplayed the offense of everything that Brie did, and almost underplayed what Nikki was doing. So this is actually a pretty decent match. You can still tell that Brie is out of her depth, but she's doing very well. She's easily, out of the 4, she's the worst wrestler. Not that that's a bad thing. But she actually did a pretty good job. She got through all of her spots. She did a pretty good job when it came to some of the rest hold areas. I do think that, you know, when they showed the Bellas working together as a team, I think they keep on highlighting the experience. Yeah, if you look at the number of years, they work well as a team. I would focus more on their twins. They've spent years together. They've experienced working together. Because then you almost really kind of underplay the overall experience that someone like Becky Lynch has, who's traveled all over the world and applied her craft. And Charlotte's only got a couple years of experience, but she had probably one of the best trainers when it came to her father's career. So they've got a tremendous amount of experience to it. And I was thinking, will Brie be the one to eat this, well, I guess, submission now, because they're the submission sorority. Pinkies. Awesome name. It's great that they're going to have those be, here are your submission specialists. One with it, awesome. You got Team Bad, Team Bella, and the submission sorority. Good. But who takes the submission? Nikki taps out of the figure 8. And I was like, hey, you know what? Nikki lost in a match. That's impressive. Up until this point, they've really been keeping her protected. She's the female John Cena. And I was like, she ate a pin. Alright, it's pretty good. Good competitive match. Later on in the night, Naomi took on Paige. Naomi did some sort of like modified backstabber while trying to use her feet, so it was kind of like that really neat surfboard move that Alicia Fox did that gave her the concussion, but Naomi's trying to do it to Paige, and it looked awkward. And I will say, the fact that now Naomi does a move, and if she's in the corner, she then like dry humps the corner. And it's like, okay, obnoxious heel. Obnoxious heel with the eat my booty offense kind of works. I do think that the finish they should give her is the Molly Go Round. I think the Molly Go Round from Naomi would be a fantastic finisher. Still booty based, but it looks very impressive. So their match had a little bit of slop, just a couple moves here and there. But you know, they're Team Bad, botched and dangerous. Except for Banks. Yeah, pretty much it is. But they kind of... Paige goes for the PTO, and I think they were just in the wrong spot. So they do a fight out, and then they go right into the PTO spot again. Just scoot over to like the center of the ring, so that way when she has her in the move, she can have Naomi face her team as she taps out. And I was like, alright. I think that team... I'm like, no, Paige is eating the loss. Paige has been beaten. It's like Paige lost to Banks. So every single team has had a loss. We still have not seen a loss on Banks, which is smart, Lynch, or Charlotte. So they're protecting those women very well. And they've got enough people on the other teams that you can do losses and still protect the ones that you need for your money matches. So, kudos. Miz TV does a segment. Alright, Miz cuts are great. If it wasn't for, Piper's Pit, there'd be no this, be no that, be no this, be no that. Great. Calls out Owens. Owens is like, I own all of your movies on Blu-ray, Miz. Cesaro comes out to a sick pop. He comes out looking like Jason Statham's younger brother. He's getting over. He does the walk Owens walk bit. Good. Get those two ready for a match at SummerSlam. It's 4 hours. You've got time. You can make it happen. Zack Ryder had a match with Wade Barrett. If it lasts as long as it takes to say it, Zack Ryder had a match with Wade Barrett. Zack get a bullhammer. Barrett gets a victory. Man, first he beats R-Truth, now he's beating Zack Ryder. Look out, Bo Dallas. King Barrett's coming for you. Then an 8-man tag match. Titus O'Neil is stupid money in the commentary booth. The fact that he's actually calling the match, correcting them, and being entertaining all simultaneously. When he sits down, he is the greatest announcer. I almost want to see somebody sit down and get Titus O'Neil and Jim Ross to redo commentary on matches. It would be ridiculous. They get over Titus O'Neil and all the work that he's doing outside, which is good. And Darren's like, I'm really proud of the things that you do. Titus like, you know what, man? I'm proud of you too. And that's... They do really subtle nods to Darren Young's coming out a while back, a couple years ago. And they're just these really subtle little, just like, bloop. Not these big, shake the glass, but it's just nothing like, bloop. We recognize it. We're not beating you over the head with it. And it was interesting seeing Kofi actually get outspeeded. Well, I guess out agility by Kalisto. And I was like, man, those two guys would have an awesome match. Oh, if only we had a cruiserweight division. We're watching like all of them in the ring at one time. Good match, nice back and forth. We've seen the match before. That's the only problem. And with Titus O'Neil on commentary and Xavier Woods yelling, it's almost reminds me of the old WCW World War III. You've got 8 guys fighting, some fight outside the ring. You've got 2 guys jaw-jacking. There's just almost too much going on. Almost too much going on. But, nice match, great back and forth. I'm spacing out on who won. I want to say, yeah, it was a New Day. I've seen these matches a couple times before, and there's all kinds starting to blur together now. It's like, oh man, who are we going to face? I was like, 5 teams? 5 teams. Could you? It's like, no, we don't do tag team ladder matches anymore. Plus, you'd have no reason for a ladder match. And I was like, gauntlet match? No, we don't do gauntlet matches anymore. Those don't work very well. I was like, she was like championship challenge matches where you begin with 2 teams and the winning team stays, but you don't begin with the champions. I was like, do you do like a 4-team match where you do eliminations? So there's a lot of options, but it's pretty much the whole division in one match. And I'm like, this could work. It could work pretty well. Main event, 6-man tag. Alright, here we go. The Wyatts cut a promo with Sheamus. Sheamus looks so big next to the Wyatts. And I was thinking, man, he's a big pale dude with red hair. He could totally be Rowan. They'll take down the team of all decked out in black hot rod shirts. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. And the moment they cue up Orton's music, one of the first things in his Titantron is him delivering an RKO to Dean Ambrose. It's like, and I'll beat you. We're on the same team. And I beat you. We're on the same team. Very much like the 6-man match they did, last week. Everyone gets in their spots. It's a nice, fun match. There was an awkward moment between Harper and Ambrose, where Ambrose was trying to find, he's like, do something so I can do my rebound clothesline spot, but you're going to duck so I can, no? Okay. Am I going for your leg? No? Okay, what am I doing? And it's like, well, that's going to be on Botchamania. And end, standard finish fest. Faces get the victory, fade to black. It was a good match. Good. It ticked all the boxes, and it was a good match. It's amazing how well they can do when they don't have John Cena. Now, of course, I forgot the true main event of SummerSlam. Paul Heyman came down in all of his Heyman-esque glory, discussed the things that only Paul Heyman can discuss in the way that Paul Heyman discusses them. And the way Paul Heyman is discussing the Paul Heyman things, it all has to do with how much he can build up the beast incarnate. The man, the destroyer, the reality. Brock Lesnar. Brock comes out and tosses part of the ring steps in, so he can stand on them and show that he is not only physically dominant and elevated above men, he is now physically elevated above men. With Paul Heyman just showering praise upon this man, this beast, this conqueror, the man who will live in the mantra of eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. He has done the first 3. He has eaten, he has slept, he has conquered The Undertaker. Now he needs to repeat that conquering, which he will do at SummerSlam. Doesn't matter if it's in a parking lot, if it's in a church, if it's anywhere, if it's in the very bowels of hell itself, Brock Lesnar will defeat The Undertaker. And when he showed up, and I looked at my wife and I go, you do realize that with Brock showing up, he's pretty much made more money than our house, both cars, what we make together in a year combined. The moment he pops his head through that curtain. Sad, isn't it? It's like And with the money they're giving to Brock Lesnar, Vince could almost like fund a school. But it's Brock Lesnar. Crowd goes nuts. Brock can just stand there. Think of the level of gravitas you require, that you hit a point where in your career you can stand. Have another person talk till he is blue in the face and you can just stand there. With the crowd going nuts because of your overall physical presence. That is ridiculous. He is not a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. He is a once athlete. Period. Chuck Norris is afraid of Brock Lesnar.